pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Let's see, we've got a couple of our members attending remotely today, a little bit of a weather issue with most of them. So we've got, let's see, Mr. Ernie Covino is up there. We've got Mr. Joe Impemba, is he on yet?
I don't
Not
remember.
yet. We've got Tony and Natola, if that's still her last name.
I'm here.
All right.
Yes.
And then we've got, is Brenda on there? Is there Brenda Rappaport? Not
I do
yet.
not see her yet.
Okay, so a couple of folks not yet. Great. And then, so because of that, just put them down there, we take our votes by a roll call this evening. All right. The Town of Burlington will be holding the February 6, 2025 meeting as a hybrid meeting. The government issued an executive order on March 12, 2020, authorizing remote meetings under General Law, Chapter 38, Section 20, and extended by Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, including permitting of remote meetings and participation until March 31st, 2025, which is coming up.
It is.
Staff.
Sure. So as always, members of the public are welcome to attend this in-person meeting. Note that while an option for remote attendance is being provided as a courtesy, the meeting will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the broadcast unless otherwise required by law. Members of the public with a particular interest in a specific item on the agenda should make plans for in-person versus virtual attendance accordingly. If you're looking to participate remotely, you can do so at townofburlington.webex.com. Our meeting number is 2344-205-9039.
Excellent, thank you.
Our password is 1645, and you can join WebEx on your phone at 617-315-0704. Just a word of warning that we have found that, if you're using your web browser to log into meetings and you want to participate, we've found a lot of bugs in that system. So if you can, download the app on your machine. And if you're looking to participate remotely, raise your hand. And we will unmute you accordingly. We're being broadcast on the BCAT government channel. You can find it on Comcast 99, RCN 15, and Verizon 41. We're streamed on Facebook Live via the BCAT government Facebook page.
Thank you. All right, great. So it looks like we do have Member Rappaport on there, and there's Mr. Covino. Great. So let's go to a withdrawal off the agenda tonight.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to take item 7D out of order for discussion purposes.
Second.
Gaffney?
Yes.
Sutherland?
Yes.
LaRue?
Yes.
Covino?
He is.
Yes. Sorry.
Natola?
Yes.
Rappaport?
Yes.
Okay, 600. Yep. So a continued public hearing for the application of a site plan of 106 Bedford Street, Burlington. The Historical Commission is the applicant.
So this is, if you recall from last meeting, we need to, because we opened it as a public hearing, we need to withdraw it.
Right.
And then, so it's
The site
just like,
plan.
it's housekeeping.
And that goes to us, the special permit, which will be later on.
Correct, that's correct.
All right. Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion for the planning board to hereby accept this request to withdraw without prejudice.
Second.
Gaffney?
Yes.
Sutherland?
Yes.
LaRue?
Yes.
Covino?
Yes.
Natola?
Yes.
Rappaport?
Yes.
600, thank you. Okay, motion to take item 7G out of order for discussion purposes. Yep,
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to take 7G out of order for discussion
okay,
purposes.
thank you.
Second.
Gaffney?
Yes?
Sutherland?
Yes.
LaRue?
Yes.
Impemba? Sorry, not yet here yet. Covino?
Yes.
Natola?
Yes.
Rappaport?
Okay, thank you,
Yes.
600 again. This is a continued public hearing amendment to Article 3, Districts, Article 4, Use Regulations, and Article 10, Miscellaneous and Special Regulations of the zoning bylaws, allowing recreational marijuana dispensaries in a new marijuana retail zoning overlay district. That was submitted by Alex Woodfeld of the Town Meeting Member Precinct 5 on behalf of Will Seagard.
Okay.
Is there a motion?
I would like to make a motion for the planning board to hereby accept this request to withdraw without prejudice as requested by the petitioner in an email dated February 3rd, 2025.
Second.
Okay, any discussion, staff?
Not at this point. So I did speak with the petitioner, and given, what town meeting most recently, and then thinking about the plans moving forward, and it's kind of still a moving target, so at this point, they felt that it would be appropriate to withdraw what they've currently submitted and kind of regroup. And so that's kind of my step.
Excellent, thank you. Roll call?
Sure, Gaffney,
Yes?
Sutherland.
Yes.
LaRue.
Yes.
Impemba,
Yes.
Covino.
Have we lost Ernie?
Oh, no. Natola,
Yes.
Rappaport.
Yes.
Okay, 600, thank you. All right, is there anyone in the audience or online who is here to speak an item that is not on the agenda this evening?
I don't see any hands online.
All right, seeing none. Announcements.
So all zoning bylaw warrant articles were approved by town meeting. The zoning articles for the next town meeting, which is in May, and that deadline is next Tuesday, February 11th. The high school building study committee will be holding a public forum next Wednesday, February 12th, and that's at 6:30, and that's at the high school auditorium. The zoning bylaw review committee will also be meeting at that time on the 12th, and that's going to be via Zoom. President's Day, which is Monday, February 17th, town offices will be closed, and the next planning board meeting is going to be March 6th, and then we don't have one in 2 weeks from now due to the school vacation week.
Okay, everyone enjoy your trips down to the Orlando area. It's a rite of passage, right? Legal notice of interest, none. Non-approvals, none. Administrative matters, none. Matters of appointment.
Mr. Chair, I would like to make a motion to take items 7A and 7B together for discussion purposes.
Second.
Gaffney,
Yes.
Sutherland.
Yes.
LaRue,
Yes.
Impemba,
Yes.
Natola,
Yes.
Rappaport.
Yes.
600, thank you. So 7A is a public hearing and application for approval of a special permit pursuant to 4.2.2.8 police stations of the zoning bylaws, 171 Middlesex Turnpike. The Burlington Select Board is the applicant. 7B is a discussion, a request for approval of a minor engineering change for 171 Middlesex Turnpike. The Burlington Select Board, again, is the applicant. Folks? Okay.
Mr. Chair and members of the board, my name is Lisa Mead. I'm Town Council, 30 Green Street in Newburyport, on behalf of the Select Board. With me this evening is Eric Reese from the KBA Architects, who's the landscape architect on the project, and Kevin Witzel, who is the architect on the project here, Paul Sagarino, of course, the town administrator, and John Denizio, the assistant town administrator, as well as Captain Hennepin from the police department. And we have a presentation for you. So we are here, as the chair indicated, on a special permit for use and a minor engineering change related to the 1997 approved plan. The property is located at 171 Middlesex Turnpike and is located in the RO zoning district. We're here for a special permit under 4.2.2.8 police stations, and in the RO district, those uses are exempt from site plan review. Currently, as you all know, there's a water treatment facility that was approved in 1997, and the proposed minor engineering change is as a result of changing in the parking related to that approved plan. Currently, the change from the prior approved plan includes an additional 52 temporary parking spaces, which are permeable gravel and on an existing grade. There are 11 paved spaces for a total of 63 spaces. There's no drainage, trenching, or paving proposed. There are no changes to the exterior of the building or the building footprint. The signage will change, and we'll have a slide for you on that. All changes will be inside. There will be restoration of existing lawn areas and removal of stockpile dirt and soil that currently exists there. The use is proposed to exist for about 18 months during the construction of the police station facility. The property is about 44 acres, was previously developed as a water supply field. Of that, the area of about 4 acres along Middlesex Avenue is where it includes the main treatment plant building and 2 smaller outbuildings. There's existing stormwater facilities and driveways, both formal, which include pavement for approximately 11 vehicles. There's lawn area fencing, treatment tanks, and a backup generator and some landscaping. The proposed reuse of the building will include renovation of temporary office space. The treatment equipment, tanks, and piping will be removed, and we'll show you that on the floor plans momentarily. The chemicals will be remediated and the walls removed and constructed as required to accommodate the police station facilities. The exterior will remain largely the same as it is now. However, as I noted earlier, there will be changes with regard to some of the parking. And traffic and directional signs will be added to help with traffic flow and safety along the site. So aside from the removal of some fencing and exterior tanks, no other fill, trenching, drainage, fencing, or other improvements are required to be undertaken on the site. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Eric, to Eric to go over the site plan. If you could scroll down to that, please. Thank you.
So in the planning for the new police station, it was decided that it would be less expensive to move the police out of the existing facility so that the existing facility could be demolished in one shot and the new one could be built. So we had to find a place to put the police in the interim, and this property presented itself to the design team. So what we're proposing to do is to basically renovate the existing treatment building into office space for the police headquarters, and then add parking for the police patrol uses. The parking that we're adding is gravel parking. It's permeable porous parking. It's just basically we're taking out the topsoil, putting down some geotech-style fabric, and then putting in washed crushed stone for the patrol parking. All the parking is, we're not changing the grade. We are taking out topsoil, we're putting back stone to the grade of the existing grade of the topsoil now. Why that's important is because pretty much this whole site's within a flood zone, and we went through Concom on that, and they're okay with our approach to that. Circulation-wise, I will make a very important point that, number one, police do not respond from the station typically. Typically, if you're on patrol, you're out somewhere in town and you're responding from that town, that area remotely. So it's not like people are tearing out of here with their lights on and their siren on a regular basis. The other thing is that when the shifts change, they don't come in all at the same time and leave all at the same time. They come in staggered. It's not actually a fixed thing as far as the staff is concerned, but it's just the reality of how they switch out cars and brief each other and everything else. So again, it's not like there's a rush of traffic in here whenever they change shifts. We do have the public parking toward Sheet Bottom here and the handicap parking that's on the existing pavement. That they come in the front door, that's the public entry. Typically, they might get, Kevin, what did the chief say, maybe?
Maybe 2 visitors a day.
2 visitors a day. So from the public, everything out back is patrol or staff parking. On the plan left, you can see some double-stacked parking spaces without an aisle toward the Sheet Bottom. That's because they're storing cars there. We know we're limited in space, so they could back cars in, and we don't need the extra aisles is what I'm getting to. Circulation-wise, the pavement, which is in gray here, is all existing. That's all the existing asphalt pavement. The red is the gravel we're talking about putting in. That pavement is between 13 and 15 feet wide, depending on where you are in the site, toward the back. With the stone, we're effectively increasing the width of those drives to 24 feet where there's parking. But we're also utilizing the purple on the left-hand side there is basically a dirt path, a gravel path that DPW built while they were using the site. That will remain there as is, and the department can use that for exiting the site. So that makes their circulation pattern basically ends up being counterclockwise through the site, in and out. There's, like it was previously stated, there's no trenching or fencing or gates proposed. Pretty much all the rest of the work is inside the site or inside the building. All the lighting is building mounted now, that's to remain. There is one light out toward the street, which is a typical Cobra head light, that's to remain. And then we're proposing a sign in the lower left, there's an existing sign. We're gonna take that down, we're gonna put up a new temporary sign. If you flip two ahead, I can show you what that's gonna look like. We'll come, yeah, one more. We'll come, yeah, there it is. So that's the proposed sign. It's probably 12 square feet bigger than the existing sign that's out there. Again, it's temporary. When the police move out of here in 18 months to 2 years, the sign comes out. All the gravel that we're proposing comes out, and the textile fabric comes out. Topsoil goes back. We reestablish the lawn areas the way they are today. Kevin, you want to talk about the building a little, what's going on inside? So if you go back one,
So inside the building, currently the office space is on the right-hand side, on the top.
You need the microphone, sorry? Right up, how close, it really helps the folks that are online.
So the front part of the building there,
A little closer if you would.
A little closer?
So you can hear my echo here, you're gonna, there you go.
can you hear me now?
That's perfect, thank you.
All right, so the front front third of the building was currently set up as the office space for the water treatment department. We've repositioned that.
Right, so
And
the
then-
front third of the building was currently set up as the office space.
Feedback.
A little feedback.
You good?
All set now.
Okay. Thank you. Keep on going.
So the middle section is where the primary equipment for the water treatment facility was located. There's 8 big storage vessels that are up on concrete curbs. We're going to be taking all of that out, flattening the slab, smoothing it out, and establishing new offices for the administration. Through the programming of the department, through the programming with the department, we found that there were some areas that they didn't necessarily need, they could live without for the 2 years in the temporary facility. There are no locker rooms, there's no fitness room, and there's really no detention cells or any detention capabilities within the building. The town will rely on mutual aid, I believe, with Lexington to take any prisoners if they are, as needed. And the officers will change at home or in the bathroom, but there's no shower facilities. So kind of working through the front, we've got records and some other offices in front, followed by the police administration along the bottom. Administration is on the lower bottom. I believe we've got traffic on the front, on the lower part there. Detective suite is in the middle, a couple of interview rooms. In the back, we've got roll call and report writing, followed by some other administrative offices for traffic patrol, and then dispatches, the diagonal ones, the dark ones, kind of in the middle of the sheet. We're presently working on getting all of those systems ready for transfer over cut over to the new station. In the lower level, we put primarily as just a storage facility. We've got archives, we've got evidence storage, we've got a place for the armorer in the armory and an armorer's workroom. So there's really nobody positioned down in the basement. It's primarily a storage. And we're impacting the lower level as minimally as possible to keep the costs down. But as Eric said, the exterior of the building, I don't think we're putting a single hole in the exterior building envelope. So that way we can avoid triggering any thresholds for the stretch code for energy codes. It's going to remain a existing non-conforming building that we're strictly doing interior fit-outs for. The mechanical units will be in the far left-hand side it's currently now a garage space. We're going to put a couple of air handling units in there and reutilize the existing louvers on the exterior of the building. So again, from a impact standpoint, unless you go in the building, you won't know anything that really happened aside from fixing some of the parking for the department vehicles and the staff.
And I will add that the town does not have any plans or plans for this facility after the police move out. That's presumably going to be decided between now and that time. Anything they do plan needs to come back before the town for whatever it ends up being.
Thank you.
So with that, Mr. Chair, in accordance with Section 9.2.4 of the zoning bylaw, the applicant believes that the board can find that the use as a temporary police station satisfies the special permit criteria, which I'll go through in a minute, and the adverse effects of the proposed use will not outweigh its beneficial impacts on the town or the neighborhood in view of the particular characteristics of the site. So your first criteria is the social and economic and community needs which are served by the proposal. Here, clearly, the community needs a temporary location for its police station while the construction of the new facility occurs. Town meeting voted and approved the funding for the new station, but also voted and approved the change of use of this facility and the funds to make it a temporary headquarters. The town needs a police station locally while the new station is being built, and the reuse of the unused water treatment plant serves those community needs. The next criteria is the traffic flow and safety, including parking and loading. Here, the proposal includes additional parking, temporary parking for police vehicles in the rear of the building on gravel, permeable surface. There's adequate access in and out of the site, as Eric has reviewed, and the access out of the site does not change. The guest parking is provided in the front of the building on the existing concrete or pavement for easy access to the public. During business hours, according to the police chief, approximately 10 vehicles come to the site for shift work and administration, so that's not overly burdensome. And at any given time, 5 to 6 police vehicles will leave the site and return to and from a shift. Again, that's really modest, particularly given the amount of traffic that flows on Middlesex. On any given day, as Eric indicated earlier, there may be 2 to 3 walk-ins of non-police personnel, and therefore it's not overburdensome either. So as a result, we believe that there will be minimal traffic entering and leaving the site as compared to the amount of traffic currently on Middlesex Avenue. And as indicated on the site plan, there's appropriate flow around the site to address any safety needs. The next criteria is the adequacy of utilities and other public services. As Kevin indicated, there won't be any change to public utilities that currently service the site. That will stay the same. There's no additional impact on stormwater, as the additional parking is on pervious surfaces, and so therefore the public services are adequate. As to the neighborhood character and social structures, the most recent use of the site was in fact a public water treatment facility. The proposed use will be public safety. The neighborhood is largely commercial with a new multifamily housing complex under construction across the street. There will be limited to no impact on the neighborhood as nothing on the site plan will change in the front of the building, and the use will be temporary. Indeed, there's a fire substation to the north of the site complementing this public safety use. As to the impacts on the natural environment, there will be limited to very minimal impacts on the natural environment. As we noted in our presentation, there's no new construction or change of footprint in the building. The proposal restores some of the existing lawns and constructs additional parking spaces out of gravel, which does not impact the stormwater runoff. And the applicant will comply with any requirements of the Conservation Commission, which they've already made those changes. You see those on the site. And the Concom has determined that there's no impact, and so they're fine with the project. And finally, the potential fiscal impacts, including the impact on town services, tax base, and employment. Here, the potential financial fiscal impact on the community is a cost savings. Instead of having to rent swing space or buy additional space or use another building which already exists, the use of this building will obviously save the taxpayers significant money. All of the foregoing has a positive fiscal impact. There'll be no negative impact on town services because the police will be able to run their operation out of an existing town building. The conversion to an existing public building will be more efficient and timely than building a new or converting rental space. With that, we'd request the board grant a special permit and approve the minor engineering change.
Thank you very much. I'll go first to staff. Comments, please.
So I, actually, all of my questions and concerns and comments that I had to you have been kind of addressed tonight, so that is very helpful. So I don't have anything further, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. We'll go to board members. I'll start with Mr. Impemba on the left.
No, I just want to, so I forgot first, gentleman's name, I'm sorry.
This is Eric.
Eric, okay. Yeah. So the parking is going to be sufficient? I mean, there's not, and what are the numbers?
There are 63 total spaces. There's 11 paved spaces, those are pretty much existing, and 52 new gravel spaces.
Okay. 11 paved, and then all that's going to be, the gravel's all going to be taken out, it's all going to be, at that point, it's going to be brought back to its.
At the end, taken out and topsoiled and seeded off.
All right, and you're anticipating this for 2 years, is that?
18 months to 2 years.
That's good.
No, I mean, it looks like the impact is fairly insignificant. I don't think it's a concern of mine anyway, so.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Impemba. Vice Chair Sutherland, please.
Thank you. How many guest spaces do y'all have at the current police station?
Just to speak into the microphone. There's approximately three or
Just
four.
introduce yourself, sorry. just-
Oh, I'm sorry. My
Again,
name's
yeah.
Dan Hannafin. I'm a captain with the police department.
Thank you.
Here in town. There's approximately 3 or 4 spaces that are dedicated to visitors and guests. However, a lot of our current spaces will be, utilized for whoever wants to go there for town events and things, so that won't be an issue down here. But it's about the same as what we will have going forward for the next couple of years here.
And will the parking, will there be signage for the parking? Like, is there going to be saying this is guest parking versus this is, because there is command staff parking right next to the guest spaces. Is that going to be designated, or is it just going to be folks can park wherever?
I'm assuming that they'll probably be similar to what we have at the station over here now, is just a metal signpost with a sign there. I'd be surprised if we don't probably use the same signs that we have over at the police station now, down there, just to transfer them down.
Okay, that is helpful. And what happens if the guest spaces are full?
So if we can go to the site plan, you can,
You want to do the back of the building? Is that-
yes, please. And pull up so there would be space, no, not the back of the building, that's the police cruiser and police officers. So you have 3 spaces up front, the handicap space, and then there would be 7 spaces for command staff. So, what do they do now if the spaces are full, right? They find a space on the site to
Okay.
park, right? I mean, I think there's plenty of room. You can see how wide it is.
Yep.
So if somebody had to parallel park there along to the left, I'm sure that could be accommodated, right? When we talked to when we had a prep meeting earlier in the week and the chief was on, he didn't think there would be a problem at all. He said there's plenty of parking spaces for the guests.
Okay, thank you. The 2 per day average of folks coming from the public, does that include like pre-planned custody exchanges, or is that just unplanned visits?
I think that's probably more, the translation of that would probably be not more than, say, 2 or 3 at a time.
Right.
Okay.
We'll have maybe more people coming and going, but it won't all be at once. Usually it's a pretty quick, usually they're quick in and out.
Okay.
The custody exchanges are fairly quick.
Okay.
I don't know if that will be the same, usage for that as it is currently, where this is such a central location right now. That's a little bit out of the way.
Okay. And then I'm curious where exactly the lighting is, because it is a decent amount of a walk from the parking space to the front entrance. So I'm just curious where the lighting is as
So
it pertains to the
it's on the
public walking.
building, right? So do you know exactly where it is on the building?
It's on the building, it's pretty much, there's a wall pack light existing over pretty much every floor around the building, on every side of the building. So it's just the existing light. That light does throw out onto the site. It's not just vertical lighting, down lighting. So we do think there's adequate lighting on the site.
I don't know that I love the answer, we think there's adequate lighting on the site. I think I'd love to feel a little bit more confident that at least the walkway to the main entry is very well lit. I would say that's my main concern, because it kind of goes around the corner of the building and shadows can be cast.
Everything within 75 feet of that building is
Okay.
very well lit.
Okay. And then I noticed on the most recent site plan that we got today, the one you have up here, you have arrows going both ways, but clearly that is not wide enough for two-way traffic. So I'm assuming that will be updated to be one-way?
Could be.
So as far as the access there, as he indicated earlier, as Eric indicated earlier, that, it's kind of variable width through there. But again, the issue is, we're not talking about lots of cars coming and going. So if a police officer comes around the corner and sees somebody coming in, they can stop and let the person pass if there's not enough area. So I don't think that the police chief thought that there was going to be any issue with site circulation related to the police officers coming, because that's all that's going in the back, right? There's no public going in the back.
Right, no, I'm just saying because I saw on the plan it says proposed traffic arrows like on the ground. So
Right.
are you planning to paint on the ground that it is two-way traffic? Or are you, because there's another image, sorry, I'm looking at these on my computer. This image shows just arrows one way versus that site plan shows it two ways.
I
So
think
I'm-
the purpose is to show that people can come in and go out on this right-hand side.
Okay, okay. So y'all will be painting that on the road?
Yes.
Okay. And last, I guess, comment, because obviously there's nothing really you can do about this point. I am confused why there's no showers. For 2 years, why wouldn't we provide showers?
They'll be going home to do their showering.
Yeah,
Does everybody live in? So like, basically, if they are in a shift where then they need to take a shower, their shift is just gonna immediately end and they're gonna go home?
So Kevin's done a number of these, built a number of police stations, right? The architectural firm's done a number of police stations. I've been involved in a number of police stations and temporary facilities while the new police stations are being built. It is absolutely not unusual in swing space not to have showers. Locker rooms are the first to go because it's not absolutely essential. Is it inconvenient? And so might I have to go home and drive a town over to take a shower instead of be able to have the convenience here for the moment? Yes, it is inconvenient, but for the temporary time period of 18 to 24 months, it is what it is.
Yeah, and I know that, and obviously there's nothing we're gonna do about it at this point, and I understand the cost savings. I just think, I don't know, I would hope for a little bit of a better option for them, but,
Can I- So just to that point, there's actually a fire station right down the road. If it was an emergency and they really had to be cleaned off, I'm sure they could
Right,
use the fire station.
Right.
In the
Yeah, it's a
few
good point.
instances
Good point.
where they really needed it.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
it's a good point.
yeah. Okay, that's it.
Great, good comments, thank you. Member LaRue?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a couple of questions. When do you expect to occupy the space?
We're expecting, we're looking forward to awarding the contract for construction probably the middle of next week, with a start date of probably March 1st, because there's still some work that the town needs to do to abate some of the chemicals that are currently in the building. And then we've got approximately a 5-month duration for construction, so that puts us towards the end of June, that we'd be looking to be able to have the space available for them to start moving into.
So July or August you'll move in?
July, August, in that timeframe.
Okay. All right. So I understand there's appropriate signage at the site. Will there also be signage at the current site, so when people go there by mistake, they know what to do?
We'll put something on the construction sign when we get to that point,
Right.
yes.
And this is not a construction thing at all, but I think there's probably a need for a sort of a public education program so that people know where you are.
Yeah, when I'm talking with the chief, there will be a public outreach on their website and through their social media outlets to let people know building up to the time when they will be moving to the temporary facility, as well as when we start moving back into the new project.
I think our plan, we discussed it a little bit, is to pin on our social media accounts the address, the new address, the location change temporarily. So that'll be forward-facing all the time.
Okay. And a sign for the people that drive there, because they're going to drive there, no matter how many times you tell them, people are going to drive there. Last question is, what is the lighting in the back where all of the parking is for the patrol officers? What is that lighting like?
It's wall-mounted lighting.
It's currently there?
It's
the
existing
same?
lighting that's currently
Okay.
there mounted on the building.
Oh, on the building, so
Yeah.
there's no poles out in the...
No poles
lot.
out.
Okay, so it's just on the building, and it'll be on all night?
Pretty much, yes.
Very selfish question. I
Yeah.
can see the lights from the fire department from my backyard. Now I'm going to see these too, but that's okay. It needs to be well lit. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll go to the members that are online. We'll start with Member Natola.
I'm all set. All the questions I had were answered by the other participants.
Thank you very much. Member Rappaport, please.
Nothing for me either. Thank you very much.
Okay, do we have Mr. Covino still on?
Ernie is there.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Covino.
Oh, Ernie, you're unmuted. There's another request sent on the middle of your screen.
That's better. Thank you. No, all my questions have been answered. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Covino. A couple of questions I have. One is with regard to the shooting range. When I did the tour, they said that was something that could be moved. Is that being moved into the new facility? The current shooting range at the station, I understood that to be something that could be moved.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that will be incorporated into the design of the new facility at the existing location.
So where does that get stored in that transition?
I'm not sure where they're going to put it. We'll probably get it into a Connex box, one of the big storage boxes. I've already had conversations with the vendor to get a proposal together for the town so that they can start get a price together for the disassembly and then reassembly in the new station.
Validating that, Officer Hannafin?
Yes, yeah, we won't have it at the temporary location, but plan is to store it, like you said, most likely in a Connex box for the time being.
So is there mutual aid for continued training then as well?
Yes.
Okay. Second one I have is with regard to no plans for the site after, so incorporating the cost of this into the new police station, I would have thought that we would, if we're putting money into this, we would have kind of a future plan for this with whatever the need is with the town as a whole. So I'm a little confused on why there is no plan if there was a kind of overall plan for everything going forward. If, I understand if you were renting a building from somewhere else, but if we're doing an upgrade to this one, we may not need to remove the things if there's going to be other activities that need buildings, which we're always hearing about, So there's no answer on that one, but I'll just continue. When I took the tour, there was a garage, and then there was a trailer, a separate trailer vehicle. Is that part of the fleet vehicles in the back, or is that trailer going to be located at a third place?
Yeah, that's all part of the double-stacked.
Oh, that's where the trailer looks
Some of
bigger
those-
than a single car, though. So it would take up maybe 4 spaces versus the 2? Is that the plan?
The plan is that's where when we did a count with the department on how many vehicles they had and how many trailers and how much equipment,
Okay.
we determined that was the number of parking
Yeah,
spaces we have will accommodate all of their current,
Okay.
between the frontline vehicles, their second line, and any of the support apparatus that they have.
Okay, and then I heard there's no trenching, drenching there. I was there yesterday, and there was a backhoe, and then there was a dump truck that had dirt in it, and there was a big hole. If you look at where the round circle is, where it says the existing topsoil, I would say to the south of that and to the right a little bit, there was a big hole there. So I'm guessing that's part of the town versus this project?
Yeah, that's existing use up there, so that's going to all be cleaned up as part of this.
Okay, so that drenching was not part of this?
No.
This was separate, that was
We've
going to
they've
happen
not,
anyway?
we've not done any work up
No,
there.
we've done
There's,
no work.
nobody's done any work up there related to the police station.
Well, I was there yesterday, and That it was a fresh hole, and there was a big truck with a lot of dirt in it.
Right,
It
I
was right
understand,
there.
right, but it's not related to the police station, what I'm telling you, that, they've not started any work related to the police station up there. The DPW is doing some temporary stuff up there, but there's been no work related to the police station.
DPW had some salt truck bodies stored up there. And they also had some topsoil in that circled area. I don't know if that's where.
No, it was south of that, and it was about the same size as that circle, and it was about, I'd probably say at least 6 feet deep. So it was fairly wide and deep, and it was filled with water.
We'd have to ask Brian about that. I don't, yeah.
There's an existing stormwater basin there. I'm not sure if that's what.
It wasn't existing. It looked like everything was taken and put into that dump truck.
I think, yeah, I think we'd have to ask Brian
Okay.
about it. I don't,
Seemed like that
This is David Early.
it was kind of a coincidence that wasn't really making much sense to me.
There's
So
there's a
hold
member
on
of
a
the
second.
project team who's online who I think might have the answer to that.
Okay, maybe you can introduce
Yeah, I
yourself.
can. Hi there, my name is David Hurley. I'm with CHA, the owner's project manager. I've been coordinating and just, keeping tabs with Brian White on his progress of the decontamination project and his other ongoings on the site. As I understand that he called it a lagoon that was used for dewatering processes for the plant. And as Lisa had mentioned, the topsoil activity that is not involved with this project, that is a separate DPW activity that
Decommissioning.
they understand our timing and will be removing that dirt in anticipation of this site work happening for the police station.
Great. Okay, thank you. Any other hands, other staff?
Let me double check that.
We have that. And anybody here that's wants to talk in favor or against this one from, I don't see anybody.
Is there anyone online? I see 2 hands, but I believe they're both with
We
the
have-
project team.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, this is Tom Kazunas, also from CHA. I'm project executive, working with David on the project. I just wanted to highlight one point on the traffic and the moving of one station to the other. One of the things that we will ensure that's done is all of the Waze, Google Maps, Apple Maps, all of those entities are notified of the police station's move once that happens, so that if someone does put in Burlington Police Station, it will show the new temporary location. It will not show the existing location. Because in an emergency, in today's world, people go to the phone or they talk into it and say police station. So we'll make sure that that happens as well.
yep, absolutely, thank you. Yeah, I understand that, and when I heard that the police vehicles don't typically leave the police station, in a hurry with the sirens on, it does happen, I've seen it, right? And my concern on that one is that you've got Middlesex Turnpike, which is much different than Center Street coming out, right? So, and you're coming down to Bedford Street, and you'll hit the light here. Here, there's a lot of people along, as you know, Middlesex Turnpike, and particularly across the street, people coming in and out of Lifetime fairly regularly, and sometimes taking the correct way, and sometimes they're not. So that's a concern with mine of, if there's going to be some activity there, it would have been great to see, and I know it's going to be added cost to have what is at the fire station right down the street. There's a light that's activated as somebody's coming out there with lights and emergency apparatus on. So that's just, I don't know, I know it's added cost, but I think it's important at this particular intersection with the more traffic that goes there. Thank you. Please.
To that point, it might make sense, not necessarily to put in the lights, but to at least do the paint where it says "don't block."
Like the X, a big X there?
Yeah, and not, because that's outside.
Like they have
of
with the fire station?
Don't block, so don't park here when you're lined up at the light. Maybe that would make sense. It's not very expensive to throw some paint down.
So how far is that light from where we are? Can you throw up a Google
I
map?
can pull it up. I mean, it's
Pretty
pretty far.
Yeah.
Terrace Hall, and then you've
As
got.
far as where it is.
This site is very isolated.
Yeah,
It's
so this
more-
is,
it's very-
this is the entrance here, and you're referring to
The Fourth Ave light, which is
the
down.
4th Ave light? Okay, then that's,
Yeah, it would be, I would be
Here's where you're
shocked
coming out and it's all.
It's
if
further down
traffic
there, yeah.
backed up there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I would say, I don't think that we would have issue with the light, just given the nature of how far it is
Yeah.
and what we see for current traffic there now. To your point, we will make sure that our officers are careful coming out of there. That's
Yeah.
something that'll be
It'll
a
be a whole
directive
different-
based on the new
Yeah.
traffic pattern coming out of the.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I had. Everyone else good? Okay. May I have a motion?
Motion to close the public hearing on these matters.
Second?
Gaffney,
Yes.
Sutherland,
Yes.
LaRue,
Yes.
Impemba,
Yes.
Covino,
Yes.
Natola,
Yes,
Rappaport,
Yes.
7-0.
It's a 7-0, thank you, yes.
Motion to approve the request of the Burlington Select Board for a special permit pursuant to section 4.2.2.8, Police Station of Article 4 of the Town of Burlington zoning bylaws to permit the operation of a temporary police station with associated site modifications at 171 Middlesex Turnpike within the one-family dwelling RO District and Aquifer A Overlay District, subject to the terms and conditions contained in Exhibit A attached.
Second?
Gaffney,
Yes.
Sutherland,
Yes.
LaRue,
Yes.
Impemba,
Yes.
Covino,
Yes.
Natola,
yes,
Rappaport,
Yes.
Okay, 7-0 again, thank you very much.
Motion to approve the request of the Burlington Select Board for approval of a minor engineering change for property located at 171 Middlesex Turnpike to support a temporary police station as reflected on the red line site plan entitled Burlington PD Temp Relocation, prepared by Casel Booze Associates, Inc., sorry for butchering that, dated January 7th, 2025, and revised on February 6th, 2025, subject to the following revisions, terms, and conditions.
Second?
Gaffney,
Yes.
Sutherland.
Yes.
LaRue.
Yes.
Impemba,
Yes.
Covino,
Yes.
Natola,
yes.
Rappaport,
Yes.
Yes, it's 7-0. One, Member LaRue.
Not about this site, but do you have any information about when the next building committee meeting for the police station is? We haven't met since, I think, November, and I'm getting worried about your schedule.
Yeah, we've,
I'll drop. Oh, go ahead, Kevin.
Someone here that wants to speak?
Barbara, I can take that one as the owner's project manager. Been working close with Kevin. We want to make sure that we have substantial information to get in front of you guys to present next. Our plan is to get another building committee meeting in early March when we have the site plan formalized. We're currently finishing up or getting the geotechnical investigation work completed so that we can inform our civil design and again, finalize that site plan. Making some final tweaks to the floor plans and also been developing some exterior renderings that we can present. So we're intending to meet with the building committee in early March.
Really?
Hold on. We're good? Okay, keep on going. March, you're saying?
I'm sorry, I don't know where you cut off, but we're intending to meet with the building committee again in early March, as well as the DCM meeting at some point in early March to get the plans in front of that department.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay,
Thank you very,
Mr. Impemba.
In relation to this, are there renderings that are completely
No.
finalized or not?
no.
No renderings yet.
We're waiting.
Okay, so
So let's wait till March and maybe they'll have renderings.
I would hate to see them the first time when we're going to.
Yeah, but I think there was, to make it look like the old Union School, so I think that's what was
Well,
going
there
on.
was two. There was another
There
one that
were-
was actually a nice plan.
There were some renderings shown at previous police station building committee meetings, and feedback was given. We were looking for something different, something more, but we have not seen anything since then.
Okay.
All right.
So will there be, is it going to be a final plan that they're looking at?
I
Or is
certainly
it still
hope
going to be a couple of, no, I mean, that in their intention, would it be a final plan or would it be still a couple of options? That
I think we need to ask them. I would think there would be options, Joe. That's one of the reasons I'm concerned that it's been so long since.
Well,
we've
that's
met.
why I'm saying,
Yes.
I would like it to be here, well, we still had a couple of options, you know.
Yeah. We intend to have at the next building committee meeting, we're going to have some options that we're going to present to the building committee, get their input, and then we'll formally submit it to this board for what the building committee's decision is going to be for what they're looking for direction going forward.
Okay.
Great.
So the options, just not to belabor this, I just want to, the options are not going to be like a couple of versions of the Union School build, like, it's going to be, because initially you had there were a couple of different designs, so is that?
Yeah,
gonna be still-
I don't want to speak for the building committee, but the direction initially was to make it look fairly close to the Union School. At our last meeting, as Barbara made mention, there was a request to have some deviation from that. How far we deviate from that is, we'll have those options available to the building committee to take a look at and say if we've gone too far, not gone far enough, and we'll find it that way.
Just
What the-
one
what the-
follow-up, just.
Okay, because I
You can
go ahead.
respond to that?
don't exactly
Go ahead.
agree
No,
with
go ahead. Go
the
ahead.
way it was the way that was said. What we were asking for was a more interesting layered look, because by making it look similar to the building that's there, only much larger, it just looked like a giant
Ah,
block.
gotcha.
That's what.
And that's
yeah.
what we were trying to avoid.
That's my concern. too.
Yes.
That's right.
So that's what we were asking for some differences in the facade and with, maybe parts that are, brought forward and back, something to make it not look like a giant block.
Because there was,
Yes.
there was also a variation that looked more similar to the Grandview Farm, that maybe blended better with the Grandview Farm. I don't know, and that's why, where we have, it still falls within the design.
Yeah, of the center.
District,
Yep.
so.
We do have design control on that.
I think we really need to have some
Yep.
input in the design of this thing.
Yep.
So I just don't want to be hit last minute and say, oh, no, that's it, what's
Yeah, yeah,
decided,
yeah. So maybe it's important to come before us with multiple designs, because we ultimately have
yes.
design control, where normally we typically would not. But because it's town center, we actually do have design control on that.
Okay.
Great, we good? Great, thank you, folks.
Thank you very much.
Yep,
Thank you all.
all right. Item 7C is a public hearing, application for approval of a special permit pursuant to 6.1.1.2, expansion of a non-conforming use of the zoning bylaw. 106 Bedford Street, the Burlington Historical Commission is the applicant. Good evening.
Good evening, Peter Capola, Historical Commissioner. Shed Part 2.
Yes, welcome back. We were lucky enough to we had 3 weeks in between our meetings. So as you recall, last meeting, we opened up a public hearing for a site plan. It turns out, after, many years of different planning directors and things getting lost in the shuffle, this is a special permit. It's for a Section 6 special permit finding for expansion of a pre-existing non-conforming use. So the West School is in an RO district. It's a non-conforming use in the RO district. And the building inspector, Mark Dupel, deemed that because they're adding a storage shed, that it's an expansion of that pre-existing non-conforming use. And so as part of that Section 6 finding, the board needs to find that the use will not be substantially more detrimental than the existing non-conforming structure to the premises, neighborhood, or the environment. As was mentioned last week, this is an 800 square foot shed, and it's meant to look in similar style to the West Pool and kind of complement it. And then once a foundation is poured, Peter has said that they're going to be looking to Shawshene Tech to help actually build it, which I think is very exciting. It is on a 0.49 acre site, and it lies in the RO district, as I previously said. It is surrounded by single-family homes. However, this is not going to be, a public building. It's mostly going to be for artifact storage for the Historical Commission. And I think that's all I have. Did I miss anything?
The only utility will be electrical.
Yep.
There will be no public access to the building, only town employees and volunteers. As you said, Shawshene Tech will construct the building after we find somebody who can prepare the site. The building will sit 8 feet lower than Bedford Street, so from the street, you're only going to see the roof of the structure. And yeah, that's about it. It's a shed. Had the site still been used as a school, it would have been a by right use, but because it is
That's right.
a museum, it requires a special permit.
Okay, let's start with our, if you're all set, staff?
So the only other thing I want to mention is that the shed will be within the setbacks of the RO district. So just wanted to make that clear as well.
Okay, thank you. Let's start with our members online. Let's go with Ms. Rappaport.
I don't have any questions, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Covino.
No questions, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Natola.
I'm all set too.
All right, let's go to my right. Member LaRue, please.
Thank you. For staff, have neighbors been notified?
Yes, because this is a special permit when yes, green
Have
cards.
we
do
received any feedback?
We have not received any feedback.
Okay,
Thank you, I have no further questions.
thank you. All right, Vice Chair Sutherland, please.
Thank you. I did see in the application that it was noted, occasionally there may be members of the public invited to view certain historical assets in a central viewing area. Can you just tell me a little bit about that?
That means the doors will be open, they'll be able to look in.
Okay. So it wouldn't be like, hey, we're having an event, come here. Okay.
No, it'd be, the third graders come to the museums in the spring and the fall.
Oh, okay.
So they visit the museum at the center of town, they visit the burial grounds, they visit the Francis Wyman House, they visit the West School. When they're at the West School, they'll be able to walk behind.
great.
Look inside, and that will be now where the barge, which is currently at the museum, the original mock-up of the original school bus. That will be located there now, so they'll be able to look in there, see that, they'll see some farm equipment, the blacksmith equipment, things like that, but they will not access the building.
Okay, great. That is my only question.
Okay, I had a couple of questions, thank you.
Oh, you missed Mr.
Oh, Mr. Impemba, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. Impemba. How could I forget?
I'm invisible down this.
Live with it.
I was actually going to ask you last time, but we didn't get the opportunity. And especially hearing that it's going to be done by the Shawshene, I bet you they would love an opportunity to be able to install a cedar shingle roof onto a building. at some point. Especially now that I'm hearing almost the only thing you're going to see is the roof. I mean, that would be, the other one, the existing building has a cedar shingle roof, right?
The original building in the center of town was constructed in the late 1800s. It was a blacksmith shop and became the Pollock Automotive Repair Shop right after World War I. So it will look something like that. So it would have cedar shingles, but we're also talking about maintenance, Joe, and right now the town really doesn't keep up very well with maintenance. So I'm kind of leaning toward architectural shingles as opposed to cedar.
But that one, the building that's next, the West School has
It's
cedar
cedar,
shingles.
it is. And it took a long time to get the building painted, let alone, so if you prefer, and if the board prefers cedar, we'll put cedar. It doesn't to me,
Yeah.
it's just, it's a question of maintenance, and
I get it, but, the cedar shingles are typically, 30 years, 40 years before they have to be replaced, right? It's a long, they're pretty, the life expectancy is pretty good on those. Especially hearing that we're only gonna see the roof, and the way that roof is facing, what a difference it would be to have cedar shingle, and the biggest part, I know there's an extra cost to purchase, but it's really labor is the thing,
it doesn't matter, we're gonna go to town meeting for more funding anyway, so we'll just.
Yeah,
tack it
I
on.
would love to have it that much more,
I thought they got,
historic looking.
We hit the pandemic and prices went through the roof during the pandemic, so our original budget fell short.
Yeah, it's gonna be really visible, the roof,
Yeah.
and it's, the building next to it has, and that's not even as visible a building, a roof, and I would
Yep.
love, as one, would love to see
Well,
cedar shingle.
maybe, Mr. Impemba, yeah, it is very visible there, and it's, when you go by the West School, you see it's a very small, one-room schoolhouse. Now you've got this larger, newer building. I wonder if it gets turned, and then you don't get this, you don't see this, what is it, is it a 20 by 40
You'll see the
shed
20, the
there? Now
20-foot
you see
side.
the smaller frontage of it, and then you don't see as much
Yeah.
roof.
I actually it looks very historic looking.
Right.
It looks like it has a
That's
historic
that's the
design.
idea.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
And I think it's beautiful. The only thing that would really top it off would be cedar shingles. In my opinion,
I've written it down, I'll ask the architect to put that in.
okay,
Make
I'm
the
one,
change.
but
Yeah,
No, it makes
I
sense.
don't have a strong opinion.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with that.
Makes sense, we'll do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Excellent. So if we could put that as a condition then.
when are you going to town meeting?
As soon as we get the approval and I can get on the
No,
agenda.
I said when?
Probably not probably this spring, hopefully, we'll get on the agenda with a warrant for more funding. We'll have to go through Ways and Means and capital budget.
Okay, thank you. All right, now my turn. On the current site, is there any parking?
No, just with the couple of spaces that are next to the school right now.
And
And-
are you going to add parking?
No, we're not, nothing is changing to the site.
Okay.
The only cars that are there is when the museum is open, some of the historical commissioners have their cars there, but the school bus parks across the street.
Okay, thank you. And is it a 20 by 40? Is that the footprint of the shed?
That's the footprint, yes.
20 by 40? And what is the footprint of just the footprint of it, the
Of the existing building,
existing building, yeah?
it's probably about 60%. It looks like to be about 22 by 22.
22 by 20, so it's smaller, I think. That's
Yes.
the footprint itself, because it just looks, that the secondary accessory building looks bigger than with the original kind of schoolhouses be, so that's why I kind of said if you can shoot it that way, it looks smaller and it's accessory to the, is if I looked at this, I go, boy, I'm looking at, the main thing looks like the shed to me, just from that angle.
Only reason why I'm not, this is just a conversation purpose, if you go through historic districts and down the Cave, wherever you go, you always see the front of the, and especially where it's a historic look. And it's close to the street.
Yeah.
Which is how typically you'd see the historic building. So I almost think it's gonna add aesthetically to that whole area. It's gonna look nice by showing the face of it and having the roof exposed and the whole, even the door looks very historic.
Ms. LaRue, go ahead.
So with that picture that was up before, am I correct in understanding that that's not what it's going to look like because this is set back and we're really only going to see the roof?
Well, no, you
This
can,
makes it
you can.
look
s-
like it's
Yeah,
close
so if
to
you're,
the
if you're
street.
across the street, you'll see probably the top of the windows and the top of the door and then all of the roof. If you're on the sidewalk on the other side of Bedford Street.
If you look at where the grade is, Barbara, look
Yeah.
at where the tree is.
Yes.
And then kind of picture how it looks like it dips down to where
Yes.
the building. So if you were standing here, if you weren't looking, that would kind of looking almost
When
down a
you-
little bit. If you were looking from back, the grade would kind of cover the bottom of the building a little bit.
Go ahead.
I don't think
Yeah.
it's, like you said, won't cover the windows, it won't cover the roof line.
Yeah, I think that it might be just an optical illusion here, because that doesn't
Yeah.
look way back
Yeah.
there. Right now.
No, that I think it's just a rendering
Rendering.
for
Yeah.
purposes of meetings
So it's
like
not really
The-
that
the
close
site plan-
to the school, right?
Right.
No, the
Correct.
site plan is more,
Says 25 feet
Yeah, it's
from the
25
school.
feet back, so.
Okay.
So it was just for
Because that made it
illustrative
look like it was
purposes.
almost
It's right to-
Yeah, I know.
parallel to the school.
Right.
yeah, that rendering
not.
makes it seem like where this
Yeah.
mouse is versus being
Yes.
set back a bit further.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Then it
And,
makes more sense to me that you only see the roof.
and are there going to be any trees or hedges removed for the construction of this?
Where the building itself is a lot of saplings, the largest one being about 5 inches, majority of them 3 or less, and almost all of them are Norway maples, which is #1 on the invasive species list. So we will clear all of that area where the footprint is and probably go out a few feet beyond that so that people can construct the structure itself.
Is there going to be any replacements of native species to replace those?
The whole area is wooded.
Okay, I didn't see that in the rendering.
I don't know if you can pass this around.
Yeah, yeah.
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 I can also,
This is a Google map, you can see. the
I can
whole-
also pull it up on here.
The entire site is wood.
This
Okay.
is the existing.
So it doesn't look like saplings then, right here,
Well, no, that's because you're above the
the canopy.
The canopy.
canopy, but when you're inside it, looking up, you just see pencils.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I need to just take a on-site, because I just been driving by there, and maybe I can just do a quick, I'll take a walk in there to see. Maybe we could label the ones that are going to be taken down, all the saplings.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it is a very heavily wooded area there. It gives a nice buffer to the neighbors there, and then you won't see that in the back.
And if you go back to the street rendering, the
Yeah.
street view,
Yeah, so it'd be good to mark which ones are going to come
so
down.
if you see that, right where the arrow is, that's a big clump of birch. We want to keep that there
Sure.
because that corresponds with the location of a large oak tree at the center of town where the original blacksmith shop was. So that we want to keep that there, because it just adds to the historical aspect.
Sure.
It looks like a big tree growing next to the,
Zoomed in a little.
Yeah. Those aren't little to me, those aren't saplings, you know? Those look like they,
oh, no, when you have to get underneath there and
let's mark them out, and maybe we can do a
We-
site.
one of the historical commissioners flagged
Yeah, did they? Which ones
where
are
it is,
coming
so
down?
you'll see where the flag
Okay,
area
I'll
is.
head over there. Maybe it's the condition is to say, if you're gonna approve it tonight, then maybe just,
Yeah,
Yeah.
something about, making sure that we, something about landscaping and making sure that trees are.
yeah,
So when we're
no
looking
no
at
mature
this-
native trees.
Depending on how much of the trees you take down, I would want to make sure that if you removed the trees that were between the shed and your closest neighbor, that those be replaced with landscaping to.
Yeah, they're not gonna come out, there's none of the, with the exception of, again, working around the shed, so that 20-foot area is not gonna be 15 feet. There's all the trees will still be there. We're
It
just gonna
looks
clear
like
the
it's
area
very
just enough for
close
the,
to the neighbor's property line.
There's a
It's
20
20
foot-
feet. to the
20 foot,
neighbor's
21-foot buffer.
Right, but how much of those trees in that 20-foot buffer will be removed?
So
That's
if,
what I'm asking.
if we have a
Because they
no-touch
need to
zone,
remove around that, too.
yeah.
Are they treed all the way to the lot
Yeah.
line?
yeah. And in fact, I think, we won't know until we actually get in there, but the neighbor on the right pretty much is built all the way up to the property line with his sheds and everything, so
Yeah,
we don't know how much of that we're gonna be.
pretty close, they're pretty close to the lot line on that side. So if you think about you need a backhoe to get around that, you
Yeah.
can either say the backhoe needs to go to the left where there's no close neighbor, leave all that right hand non-disturbed. Could do that,
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, obviously, just enough to probably get people into work, but you probably you could work with probably 5 feet of removal. on
Right,
each
that's all we're talking about. So you're still gonna end up with 15 feet of buffer.
15 feet of no disturb.
Yeah, yeah.
So if we have 15 feet of, we don't cut trees down within the 15-foot buffer, I would feel more comfortable with that. Okay, thank you.
Okay, perfect. And is this shed going to be, I'm not going to say hermetically sealed, but would it be sealed so we don't get mice in there? Is a typical shed, or what's making this unique compared to a shed that I have in my backyard where I have
Right,
mice?
it will, yeah, there'll be weather stripping around the doors and everything. The pad itself will be tight all the way around. The only thing is the two doors.
Yeah, well,
Double
my,
door.
you know, my,
Will that completely keep
Sister-in-law,
rodents,
yeah,
everything
yeah.
out? No, I mean, we just killed
so I guess my
5 in my
point is,
basement last week, so-
you're putting in artifacts in there,
right?
right? So the idea is to keep the artifacts, and I'm guessing the electrical, like putting in humidity control and air conditioner, 60%, 40%, 25 plus or minus 5?
We weren't thinking about any of that. I mean, all the stuff right now is sitting in an ISO container. It's been sitting there for 10 years, so.
So they're in plastic containers sealed?
No, none of that.
So I guess my concern is that you're creating this shed, which doesn't have temperature humidity controls to keep artifacts, but you would think you'd want to have something a bit more robust with regard to temperature humidity controls, kind of standard. You probably know 40, 60 relative humidity, right? And 25 plus or minus 5 C is kind of a standard storage warehouse to keep things, not even artifacts, but just general material in decent shape. That's it's kind of what I was thinking there. So maybe would it be too much cost if you were to put in, let's say, a mini split there? But you wouldn't want to put it on the, you'd want to put it around back so you couldn't see it, but then that would enable you to have, for the idea is, I think the intent is to keep the artifacts in decent condition for, if you want to change around exhibits or things like that, right?
Right.
Okay. Is that something possible to put maybe a mini split in there since you're putting electrical in there?
I wrote it down.
Okay. And then the temporary container that's at the main museum, the old library/police station, is that going to be removed and all of that material? Okay.
Right, so we're going to take artifacts off the museum floor. We're going to take that temporary container that's behind the museum, and we're going to take the ISO container that's up at Overlook, and all of that will go into the
Go
shed.
into this shed, okay. Okay.
and stuff that's in my shed and other,
Sounds like a lot of stuff.
we do. We have a lot of artifacts.
Yep. Okay, that's all the questions I had. Thank you. All right. This is a public hearing. Do we have any members of the public who would like to speak on this item? Okay, anybody online?
I do not see any hands.
Seeing none.
Motion to close the public meeting on this matter.
Second, but I want to make sure that we have those changes in the decision about
So I
not
have-
disturbing anything in the 15-foot buffer,
I have that
and
written.
the mini split, and the cedar.
I have cedar shingles, I have the vegetative buffer, and mini split.
Excellent,
That
thank
makes
you very
sense.
much. And they should be shallows, okay,
Okay.
thank you.
So Gaffney,
Yes.
Sutherland.
Yes.
LaRue.
Yes.
Impemba.
Yes.
Covino.
Yes.
Natola.
Yes.
Rappaport.
Yes.
Okay, that's a 700 to close the public meeting.
Motion to approve the request of Town of Burlington Historical Commission for a special permit pursuant to section 6.1.1.2, expansion of a non-conforming use of the Town of Burlington zoning bylaws to permit the installation of an 800-square-foot shed with associated site modifications at 106 Bedford Street within the one-family dwelling RO district, subject to the terms and conditions contained in Exhibit B, attached and as amended.
Second.
Gaffney.
Yes.
Sutherland.
Yes.
LaRue.
Yes.
Impemba.
Yes.
Covino.
Yes.
Natola.
Yes.
Rappaport.
Yes.
Great, 700, congratulations, thank you. Good luck.
Oh, hopefully to be done now, only 9 years instead of 10. Thank you.
All right, we've got item E. 7E is a public hearing, the application for approval of a special permit pursuant to 4.2.6.10 restaurants, fast food, order food, and takeout to the zoning bylaws, 76 Middlesex Turnpike, which is the Burlington Mall, for 101 Burlington LLC. Who's the applicant? Hello.
Good evening. So my name is Emily. I'm the regional manager.
Emily, do you have a last name?
Yeah, Emily Zhou,
Emily Jo, thank you, Emily.
CHOU.
Oh, Emily Cho, okay.
Thank you. So I'm the regional manager for the company 101 Tea House, and I'm within our marketing director, Jaden, and I do have our company owner, Jason Yu, online as well.
Jason, you, yeah, okay.
Okay, so we are like applying, we are here for the approval of the special permit for the restaurant, fast food, and order food and takeout. So we are based on a tea house, which is we are established this company in 2018, and we have 6 stores in Boston area, and we are mainly sells like premium tea, and also like mostly tea based on milk tea, fruit tea, and premium tea for our customers. And we have mostly the daily operation. It's similar to the Gong Cha in the Burlington Mall, and we actually located in the Burlington Mall, the first floor, and it was a cookie shop, I believe. It's next to the Dunkin' Donut.
Oh, okay, yes.
I believe now next to the store is a Hapa shop, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes. the-
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay,
That's
perfect.
yes, and that's our store, and we mostly have a front house and the back house. And the front house is mostly daily operation, but making the teas, and in the back we have storage room and prep table, and also have the regular health sweet things, but mostly our operations mostly in the front house.
Okay, and no seating,
No sitting. It is to go.
just to walk up like the cooking place
Yes,
before?
exactly. Yes.
Okay. Staff?
Staff has no concerns with this application.
Okay, we'll start with Ms. LaRue.
I have no questions. Thank you.
Okay, Vice Chair Sutherland, please.
My only question is that Nutella coffee still?
Oh no, I'm
On
so
the menu?
sorry. It's all of the season, but it will coming back next year. This year actually. Sorry.
I saw that and I was like, that looks delicious. Yeah, no questions.
Okay, Mr. Impemba.
No, I'm good. Thank
Okay, thank you. We'll go to the online with Member Covino.
No questions. Thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
Member Natola?
Yeah, one question. Is there any, like, food at all with the tea or no?
No, yeah, mostly just tea.
T.
Just tea, okay. No, that's all.
Thank you.
Sounds nice.
Thank you. Member Rappaport?
Nothing for me.
Okay, thank you. The only question I have, is it just the cold tea, or is there hot tea as well?
We have hot and cold.
Okay, excellent. That is, seems to be no issue then with me. Let's go open this to the public. This is a public hearing. Is there anybody here or online that wants to speak on this matter?
Jason?
It's okay. He doesn't need to, I think, if there's nothing, questions from the board.
I don't see any other hands.
Seeing none?
Okay. Motion to close the public hearing on this matter?
Second?
Gaffney?
Yes.
Sutherland?
Yes.
LaRue?
Yes?
Impemba?
Yes.
Covino?
Yes.
Natola?
Yes,
Rappaport?
Yes.
700, that closes the public hearing.
Motion to approve the request of 101 Burlington LLC for a special permit pursuant to section 4.2.6.10, restaurant fast order food and takeout of Article 4 of the Town of Burlington zoning bylaws to permit the use of an existing tenant space for a bubble tea takeout store known as 101 Tea House for property located in the Mixed Use Innovation District and Aquaphor A districts, formerly General Business BG District at 75 Middlesex Turnpike, Burlington Mall, subject to the terms and conditions contained in Exhibit C attached.
Second?
Gaffney?
Yes.
Sutherland?
Yes.
LaRue?
Yes.
Impemba?
Yes.
Covino?
Yes.
Natola?
yes.
Rappaport?
Yes.
Again, 700 approval. Thank you very much, and welcome to Burlington.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 7F is a public hearing. It's an application for approval of a special permit pursuant to 4.2.6.11, restaurants of the zoning bylaws, One Wheeler Road. Burlington Ramen LLC is the applicant.
It's making me hungry.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Thomas Murphy here for the applicants. With me, to my right, is Adam Bing, one of the principals.
Bonnie Tan, JCBT Architect.
Also here is Jackie Soon, who's the general contractor and also a principal in the project as well. By way of introduction to the site, Mr. Chair, and for anybody who's listening, this is One Wheeler Road, which is in the corner of Middlesex Turnpike and Wheeler Road. Anybody who's been down there recently, they know a new building was constructed there in the last few years. This board approved a new site plan on the property, maybe it's 2021 or so. Obviously, things slowed up there for a while during COVID, but the building was finally completed. This is actually the first tenant in the new building. The name of it's a restaurant. It's going to be a full-service restaurant, 80 seats. It's called Key Ramen. It's Japanese ramen type of a menu. There's all sorts of different ingredients that go into the different types of ramen that they're going to serve. It's the restaurant itself, there's about 30 or 40 of them, I believe, across the country right now. This will be the third one in Massachusetts. There's one in Brookline, and there's one in Winchester. So it's a growing chain. It's becoming quite popular. So basically, as I said, it's going to be 80 seats. It's going to be a full-service restaurant. We'll be looking for a liquor license. If you look at the building, or if you're familiar with the building, it was completed in such a way that there were 4 units in the upper level with frontage on Middlesex Turnpike, and 4 units in the lower level with frontage on Wheeler Road. This is going to be one of the units in the lower level. It's the one furthest on the left as you're looking at the building from the street. So obviously egress will be off of Wheeler Road.
That's the old, yeah,
Oh, wow, blast from the past.
yeah. We're looking at the old building before the tear down.
There we go. It's this,
So Tom, you said when you
There
look
it
at it
is.
from which street?
This
is it?
unit.
The one on the
When you came, the only way on site is off of Wheeler Road, but if you're going to go to the front, you take a left and go up the top. In this one, you go to the right, and it's right there in
So
front
if
of you.
you're on Wheeler looking at it.
On Wheeler Road, yes, correct.
Not from,
Right, yeah.
Correct. The way the building was constructed, there were 4 units at the lower level with where we're talking about here, there are 4 units above it on the top level, but you access those from up top off of Middlesex Turnpike. As I said, this is the first use. I think we've done the parking calcs, requires 27 spaces. There are 102 spaces on site, and like I said, none of them are being used right now, so that's not an issue. We're working with the town engineer on the sewer allocation. Once we get the final permitting and we know exactly how many seats and stuff, we can do the math on that, but that's, we're in agreement on that, just working on the final number. And we'll also be going before the Board of Health. We've had discussions with them, so once we're done here, we'll go over there, but I don't expect any problems there. So it's from what I've done, from the reading I've done on it, I haven't visited one of their local sites yet, but it looks like a pretty interesting place. I think both aesthetically and in the food. And I think it's certainly something that, to my knowledge, is not in town now. We've got a little bit of everything, but I don't think we have one of these. So I'm kind of excited about it. I know the property owner is very excited because he finally got a tenant in there, and he's hoping that will get some interest in the rest of the space, so that's a good thing as well. So that's, in a nutshell, Mr. Chairman, is the type of restaurant that we're proposing. My clients are here to address any questions in terms of specifics on the site. Bonnie can address anything architecturally or the way that the restaurant is laid out. So with that, Mr. Chair, I'll turn it back over.
Thank you, Attorney Murphy. We'll start with staff.
Sure. So as you remember, we permitted the site quite a while ago. And again, it just was a tough time. And so, you know, we're excited that they have a potential tenant. One thing that did occur, you know, the site, you know, was built, no tenants. There is some additional work that needs to be completed on the property owner's side of things. That I know that I've spoken with Attorney Murphy, and we've done back and forth about what is left over. One of the things that, if you recall, the board required a pedestrian signal. So there is a signal at Wheeler Road and Middlesex Turnpike, but there's not, you know, a pedestrian signal where you push the button and there won't. So that is going to be worked on, I believe. And I know that there was one other item that needed to be kind of buttoned up with the Board of Health. And so that's the other thing. Am I missing anything else?
No, I think that there's, the other 2 items are just gonna be general landscaping, and that's getting done right now, that's gonna be done once weather permits, and then a final as-built that's required under the original site plan application that, as it's not completed, but they have an engineer who's been working throughout the process, and they've been tracking the utilities, so they don't anticipate that being a problem. And as Liz said, that it's knowing that as part of this tenant, prior to them receiving a CO pending approval from the board, it would be ensuring that all the site work that was originally permitted is all completed. Everything on that site plan is also done.
Client anticipates opening like in the fall.
Yeah.
So soon as weather allows, March, April timeframe, my client will get going on the finishing up the last few site issues.
Excellent.
The Board of Health had asked for a couple of boulders, so anybody happened to go up and over the curb wouldn't go down into the pond there.
Oh, it's as well, yeah.
There are a couple there. They might want another one, so we'll work with them on that. And other than that, like I said, the general landscaping, as Caleb said, will be pretty straightforward. There's an internal walkway that they're going to build from their parking area over to the intersection, which they'll finish up. And then they'll coordinate. They have to work with the state on that because of Middlesex Pike.
Right.
So as far as that goes, but they don't see any issues with having it done in plenty of time before they're ready to open.
Excellent. Yep.
That's all I have,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Great. Why don't we start here with Member Impemba?
No, it sounds exciting. I can't wait. I don't have any questions.
Thank you. Vice Chairman Sutherland.
I'm excited for some ramen. But looking at the floor plan, am I seeing only one woman's restroom?
No, there's a separate one, not unisex, apologize. It's a separate one.
So two women's restrooms?
There's two women separate, it's not in one bathroom, because the shape of that area, we
Yeah.
aren't able to fit in the two women together. So it's two separate. One is handicapped, one is not handicapped. And then it's one man.
Okay. And I see you have some potential, larger, well, not large, but more than two party dining areas. So I guess potential for 80 seats and only 2 bathrooms, especially when you have 2 bar areas, is a little, to me, unusual, but I know you're trying to do what you can with the space.
And I apologize, but we meet the plumbing code.
No, I recognize that. Obviously, you wouldn't get this far if it didn't meet code. I'm just saying for benefit to the patrons, but that's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Member LaRue.
Do you plan for any outdoor seating?
No, yes, for so far. Yeah, my name's Adam Bean. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
So if you had any outdoor seating, you'd have to come back before this board.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay?
that's all I have, thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll go online to our members. We'll go, Ms. Rappaport.
I was just wondering, are you going to have a specific parking space for takeout orders or for, are you going to participate in like an Uber Eats or have delivery services?
Yeah, we work with third-party delivery companies like Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Grubhub for our deliveries. So we won't do deliveries ourselves.
So will there be dedicated parking? I can't really see on that map up from
Is there like a
home.
5-minute temporary parking type of thing, or?
I mean, if that's something that the board,
So-
it's something that could be discussed.
Yeah.
I don't know what the kind of volume you guys, I think that would be dependent upon volume, but again, that's something. we could-
So what kind of volume do you currently have at at other locations you may be familiar with that do, off-site delivery? What percentage of your business is that?
Like DoorDash.
Probably, I think about 20%.
20%?
20 to 30%.
Okay.
I mean, I think it might make sense, granted, yes, you're the first tenant there, but as that building fills up,
Yeah.
I think that may make sense to at least have 1 or 2 spots dedicated to either takeout or, takeout services.
Yeah, to Member Rappaport's question, there's nothing identified on the site plan at this point, but again, we're the first tenants down there, so I'm sure we could work with the property owner.
Yeah.
If the board feels that's important, or if it develops into something that's a need, we can certainly. I don't think.
It's just,
I don't think it'd
again,
be a problem.
given the uniqueness kind of in the difficulty of folks being able to turn around, I'd hate to see people double parked getting takeout.
Yeah.
Again, first tenant, but, as
Sure.
the building continues to fill up, I can see it potentially being an issue.
Yeah, I think we could probably arrange that with the landlord.
Okay.
And,
are there any other
s-
spaces, like in the retail spaces that are intended for restaurants?
Not at this point. I do know that that this space, they do have a grease trap, so that's all set, but,
No other tenant
no,
spaces?
I can't recall if
What was the
If
question?
any other, the tenant spaces that are available are intended for restaurants having grease traps in
I guess theoretically, it's a BG, so.
yeah, it could be, but not currently.
Could be, but there's
Yeah,
nothing, this is the first tenant, and
Okay.
there's no other,
Okay.
there's nothing else,
Yeah,
Okay.
it's really, it's kind of one of those parking dependent things.
Right.
One of the things, based on what Member Rappaport stated, at the mall, we see a lot of 15-minute
Yeah,
kind of only spaces, because I know you guys are not fans of branded
right,
spaces.
I think those are a little excessive though, Liz.
yeah,
I-
I mean,
yeah.
At the mall, maybe, but one here, I don't know.
1 or 2 here
Yeah.
makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. So.
1 or 2, I think, would be acceptable. And then going back to the bathrooms, where there are 2 separate, are there changing stations in the men's and female? Or is there, in the unisex, is there a unisex bathroom or?
They are not unisex. So the men
Okay.
has one handicap, the woman has one handicap and one non-handicap. If we can provide changing table in the handicap bathroom of the both sex, gender.
If you could do that, I'd appreciate that, just especially for both bathrooms.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Rappaport. Ms. Natola?
I was just wondering, is the opening just that from Whaler Road? I was trying to look at the structure of the building, or can you get in from up top as well?
The only entrance is off Wheeler Road. You
Oh,
can't.
okay.
It fronts on the Middlesex Turnpike, but there's no access directly to the turnpike.
Okay, yeah, I'm excited for it. Seems like a great concept for Burlington.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Natola. Mr. Covino, please.
Just one question, it's more a curiosity question to Attorney Murphy. You said you had to work with DOT, Tom. Is that because it's so close to the 128 intersection, or?
I didn't catch that.
So he was asking about the crosswalk,
Sorry.
the crosswalk signal. It has to be, you have to work with DOT because it's so close to the on-ramp to 128. Is that?
Because Middlesex
that's-
Turnpike's not a.
Yeah, Middlesex Turnpike itself is not a
not a
state
state.
right of way, but there are portions out where the on-ramps and off-ramps for the state highway are. So I would just double check
Yeah.
that.
Maybe that's what it is, because I know when we were going through the site approval process, the civil engineer was working with the state with some of
Oh,
those
okay.
types of
Okay,
questions.
okay.
So they were involved for some reason.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
I assume they
Yep.
still are.
Okay, thank you, I'm all set, Mr.
Good
Chairman.
question. Thank you, Mr. Covino.
Chairman
The only concern I had was that prior to even this building having a tenant, there was a concern about lighting on that, which I think someone who's online here brought to our attention. So maybe just to reiterate about signage and lighting, so we can get ahead of that.
Yep, that will definitely all be conditioned in the special.
Thank you, and that's
Yep,
all I had.
absolutely.
So this
Yep.
is another public hearing?
Before
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
Do we have comments from other boards?
There's no, all comments that were issued were standard comments.
Standard comments?
Okay.
There was
Yeah,
nothing that
there's
would have
nothing
been.
out of
Excellent.
the ordinary.
Yep. Okay, let's see, we'll open this up to members of the public. Anybody here or that's online that would like to talk about this particular application? Seeing none here. Anybody online? Any hands?
Nope.
We'll say no. Okay. I
Okay.
have a motion.
Motion to close the public hearing on this matter.
Second?
Gaffney.
Yes.
Sutherland.
Yes.
LaRue.
Yes.
Impemba.
Yes.
Covino.
Yes,
Natola.
Yes,
Rappaport.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion to approve the request of Burlington Ramen LLC for a special permit pursuant to Section 4.2.6.11, Restaurants of Article 4 of the Town of Burlington zoning bylaws. Permit a new full-service restaurant operator known as Key Ramen for property located in the General Business BG District and partially within the Aquifer A and Water Resource WR districts, and One Wheeler Road, subject to the terms and conditions contained in Exhibit D attached and as amended.
Second?
Gaffney.
Yes.
Sutherland.
Yes.
LaRue.
Yes.
Impemba.
Yes.
Covino.
yes.
Natola.
yes.
Rappaport.
Yes.
Great, that's 700. Congratulations and welcome to Burlington.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the board.
Thank you. Okay, that clears it out here. Still got some folks online. Minutes. We have 4 minutes.
We have 4.
Do we need to take them separately, or can we take them all at once?
We have to take them, well, we take July separately because I was
Okay.
not at that meeting.
Okay, July separately.
I wasn't here for the November
Take 'em
21st
all-
one.
Okay, we'll
Okay.
take them all separately then.
No.
May have a motion for the July 20th, 2023 meeting. That's right.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the minutes of July 20th, 2023.
Roll call for that, or, okay, go ahead.
Did somebody else to
Just
second?
second.
Second it? You can.
Second?
Yep,
Gaffney.
yes.
Sutherland.
Abstain.
LaRue.
Yes.
Impemba.
Abstain.
Covino.
Yes,
Natola.
Yes,
Rappaport.
Abstain.
Okay, so that's another abstain. 1, 2, 3, 4.
403.
403, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd further like to make a motion that we accept the minutes of November 21st, 2024.
Second.
Gaffney.
Yes.
Sutherland.
Yes.
LaRue.
Yes.
Impemba.
Abstain.
Cavino.
Yes,
Natola.
Abstain.
Rappaport.
Abstain.
That's 3, so that's 4-3. Again, 403.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the minutes of December 5th, 2024.
Second.
Gaffney.
Yes.
Sutherland.
Yes.
LaRue.
Yes.
Impemba.
Abstain.
Cavino.
yes,
Natola.
Yes.
Rappaport.
Abstain.
Okay, that's a 502.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the minutes of January 16th, 2025.
Second.
Gaffney.
Yes.
Sutherland.
Yes.
LaRue.
Yes.
Impemba.
Abstain.
Cavino.
yes,
Natola.
Yes.
Rappaport.
Abstain.
That's another 502. Thank you. Great. Okay.
Okay, moving on.
Let's see what else we got today. Oh, we've got other matters for discussion. We've got the mix, what's the first? Mix.
Mall Road.
Mall Road Innovation District Rules and Regulations Subcommittee.
So I can speak to this. You know, Melissa, you know, really, you know, worked extremely hard on this. It was a heavy lift, you know, we worked with her and assisted as much as possible. And so it was kind of a group effort. And, you know, once you get something to town meeting, and, you know, again, once you finalize, you know, a plan for something, the implementation comes next. You feel like everything's done, but no, you still have to make sure that what, you know, the policy and what is written down can be implemented in the right way. And so that's why I've talked to Melissa Melissa Tentopoulos, and I think that it would be appropriate because there are rules and regulations that need to be kind of reviewed. It's, you know, we need to better understand them. You guys need to better understand them. So I think a subcommittee would be appropriate to be set up for that, Mr. Chairman.
So there's, how many pages on that rules and?
So there are images, which I think is super helpful.
Takes up a lot, so there's pictures for folks that, you know,
But
Pictures and charts.
Pictures and charts, but the idea being that, you know, we are.
it's extensive.
It's extensive, but the point of it really is that, and what Melissa said from all along, is that this, you know, this district, it's really about elevating the design. And that is what, you know, what these rules and regs are really all about. And so while, you know, we're being a little bit more flexible in uses and a little more permissive in certain things, we are expecting things in return that will benefit all the businesses there and, you know, continue to make Burlington the best spot on 128. So, yeah.
So recommending a subcommittee on this, and as folks may know, that there are going to be a couple of members here that are not going to be here in the next month or so. So it may make sense that the existing members, because it is an extensive rules and regs, that the folks that are on that, for this particular one, maybe for Town Center, I can engage myself on that one. But, so if we have a couple of folks that would be, that are going to be here for next April, let's say, would be interested in being on the subcommittee. Anyone
When
volunteering?
do they meet, Bill?
Well, you can.
When do they,
it's-
when do they meet?
The subcommittee can decide itself when it.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't have a subcommittee.
It would just be planning board members, I think.
Yeah, we
right?
planning board members only and staff. And it's really kind of just going through the nitty gritty of what is in the rules and regs and implementation and how we want to handle that.
And how it merges in with our
how-
current process.
And how it merges with our current process. And.
Maybe if we say Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, it would be dependent upon when members of the subcommittee were available. It wouldn't be, it's definitely more flexible, Tony Ann.
It would be planning board only?
I mean, for now, but,
Could
you know, it would be
decide
up to, you know,
Planning board and staff. So
Yeah.
Probably you and Melissa, I would think.
yeah, and
Yeah,
like,
sure.
if there are other, I mean, it wouldn't just be, you know, I'm sure that the consultants are gonna be involved, so, you know, this is step one, is doing the subcommittee and then kind of setting it up, and then, we can work on
Additional members.
and, working out like who really the crew that's really gonna be able to get this going. So that is, yep. But I do wanna make sure that this subcommittee is meeting on a regular basis. Like, I don't want it to fall off because it's too big of a risk, and it needs to be something that
We're ready to go.
We're ready to go, we're working on it, and I don't want it to fall behind.
Okay. So is there any volunteers for this subcommittee? Seeing none.
Well,
The chairman gets to appoint. You know that,
Yeah, I
though,
get to a
right?
point. Tony, and you see some interest there?
well, it's not, well, I gotta tell you, I have mixed feelings about it. As you know, I voted against
Okay.
this mix, like, so I don't know, I am conflicted
Yeah.
about the whole thing because of going back to the whole structure of what they're trying to do with that area. I'm not actually for it, so I don't know if I'm a good person to be on your subcommittee. But at the same time, if you're just looking, I'm not sure what you're looking for, though, Liz. What do you need out of me? Is it a weekly meeting you need, or what are you looking for us to do?
I would like, I mean, bi-weekly, like every 2 weeks, like not every week. That's, usually if historically it's always been on off weeks of planning board meetings.
Right.
And, we're here late on Wednesdays, so, you can get out of work and stop by, we can kind of
Do something
keep it
like that.
tight that way. So that's just, otherwise, I mean, it's going to be kind of Melissa and like, it's going to be kind of staff-driven. But it's,
But can you tell me in detail, what are you looking at the meetings? Is this just you're working?
Yeah, so I think you look at the language of the rules and regs to make sure that they're consistent on what, the intent of that that zoning is. So your shalls and versus your shoulds,
Okay.
specific language, so.
yeah, so
I see.
that, and, again, talking about implementation, and how, the board, will be implementing this when we get an applicant, how that process works. It's also meant to be educational. So I know that Melissa and I had talked about having, one of the consultants come in and give, kind of an overview of how that would work from the board's perspective and, how we're gonna do it on the back end. So, it's just, making sure everything's tight, because when somebody applies, I wanna be
Right, you
shape.
want to be ready.
I wanna be ready, because we want, town meeting voted it in, and, we want it to work.
Yep.
We want it to work for everyone.
Okay.
Not trying to get off subject, but getting back to town meeting. I don't even like how that process, here we are, a planning board, and I just don't think that, it almost seemed like it was misleading. It almost seemed like that we were all, even though I know it was stated what the number was, but I would say having someone from the board speak on behalf of, it almost seemed like the planning board was 100% for this, as opposed to being against it. I almost think we should be, like, stay out of it, to let them do it without us speaking on behalf of just someone standing up, because to me, it didn't come across as a very fair comment, the way it was done.
Okay, Ernie, comments?
Yeah, I do have a comment. These are the planning board rules and regulations.
Correct.
For the mixed district. They're not town meetings, they're not the towns, and these rules and regulations can be changed without going to without going to town meeting. These are our rules and regulations.
Yep, this is the intent
We
of this.
basically, this is another area where we're gonna have design review, so we better get it right. So we should be reviewing it, and we should make sure that it says what we want it to say, because town meeting has already said that, yes, they want it. So we want to make sure we have control over it. And you're right, Bill. I'm one of the two people that won't be here after April, but I would certainly appreciate getting an email notice of the meeting so that
Yeah,
at least as long as I'm here, I could participate.
yeah, and I get, maybe we
Thank you.
jumpstart it with Ernie, myself, and, as new members come on, we can incorporate
Right,
them if nobody
right.
else is going
That'd be
forward.
great.
there.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you, that'd be great. Okay, so Ernie, you volunteered, me, you, I'll pick
Yes.
you up, and we'll get you over here, and we'll do that on site. Okay? So that's a good subcommittee. The Town Center Signage District Subcommittee.
We do have
Staff.
members of ZVRC who presented this online, so I'm going to unmute Betsy, Sherry, and Sally just for this part.
Okay, and this would be similar, there are rules and regs with regard to that, right?
Yes, I think that Betsy will have a very good explanation of what is.
Ms. Hughes, please. Oh, we got to unmute her. if
Let's
she's not
see,
muted.
Betsy, there's another request to unmute. It should be on the middle of your screen. Let me know if you're seeing it pop up.
I see it now.
There you go.
Hello there. Thank you very much. First of all, I think our committee, Sherry, Sally, and I want to support the planning board. Want to thank the planning board for all of your support in this process. And we really appreciate it, and we're very excited that this passed at town meeting the way it did. So this is great news. So now, as Liz said, the work begins. I think in this case, we're really fortunate in that we have a very good draft of the guidelines that were drafted for to go along with the bylaw. And the intent of that is to support the bylaw in ways where it's easy to understand. There's a lot of graphics, there are numbers, it shows how to measure, all of that kind of stuff. So that whether you're a business or just a member of the community, that you understand what you can and how you take the bylaw and translate it into implementation kinds of actions. So as we outlined it at town meeting, and I think we had discussed with Liz and others, the next step is that we've put together this draft. It's actually version 4, and which we will now hand off to the planning board. It's your official document, and it probably needs some more tweaking, at least a pretty thorough review before it's brought to you for adoption. We have members of the Chamber of Commerce, including Rick Parker and Mike Murray, who have indicated that they'd like to be part of a subcommittee should one be formed on that to finalize it. Just there are a few tweaks that they would like to see discussed. And so that is, and the Attorney General, as I understand it, can take up to 90 days, but pretty much it's usually around 60. So as I look at it, that's how much time we have to kind of do it. And I think it's really doable because I think that what we're handing off to the planning board is a really good, solid set of guidelines for you. And so anyhow, that's
So is
my
it your
pitch.
intention that the subcommittee would not have any members in the planning board on it, or?
No, it would. It would be
Okay.
the planning board's subcommittee. It's yours. We're kind of like saying, okay, the baby's born, here you go. And so it's yours. Of course, we want to help launch it. So, that obviously would be part of it.
I wonder if it makes
as
sense
well.
that you get into where you need to get in with whoever you have talked about, and get into where you think it's the best shape, and then send to the planning board.
I believe it's in the best, you mean
Like
with
you're-
Mike Murray?
Yeah, the
I
other
think
people that
at
you
this
mentioned,
point, it really needs to go to the planning board.
Okay, we'll take it.
Our committee no longer,
Okay,
I'm not, Sally, Sherry and Sally here, but our committee no longer technically exists now that it's been adopted, so it's really passing it, the
Okay.
baton to you.
all right, yeah, I would say let's take a look at it, and it might be in good enough shape. If certainly, I think everybody had an opportunity to comment on that with regard to other folks, but, you know, if there's something glaring that you've talked to folks already about and they have some input to you already, you
I-
can certainly forward that along.
I
Okay.
don't have their specific input on any remaining issues. I just would hope that we could involve them in the process of finalizing it. They've been such good partners through this whole process that I would hope that we could continue that to the point of finalization. So that, it's not my decision, but that's
Yeah.
what I would
And
suggest.
just to get a sense, because that's, you have any idea of what they would be interested in? Is it spellings or wording or, don't know?
At this point,
I mean,
it-
the rule,
this is
the
feedback we
zoning's in
got.
place, so I think you've met with them before to get this in place. Yeah.
They, if you, the letter that we received from the Chamber of Commerce references the fact that there are a few things that they didn't want to hold anything up. They want to keep
Okay.
things moving, but there are a few things they'd like to suggest. I don't think it's a heavy lift. I think because we have been incorporating the comments pretty much along the way. So I think it's just a kind of a final look-see and see what there are. It's probably a one meeting kind of
So if
thing, or
you
maybe a
could
couple
send that
meetings.
letter along, that would be very helpful, I think, yeah.
Bill, I'll do it.
Okay, so we have at least one person on the subcommittee?
Ernie's raising his hand.
Ernie's got two, good.
All right.
Ernie and Bob, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, a comment if I could? Mr. Chairman?
Yes, please.
This is, I was thinking, this is a little bit stranger than things that we normally do, because we actually have design review in the town center. In this set of rules and regulations explain, it goes hand in hand with that.
Yes.
But this is, since we don't issue the sign permit, or really review the sign permit, this is more guidance for the building inspector, I would think. So I think we want to make sure we
Yeah,
involve
good
him
point.
too. Am I not
Yes.
right, Betsy? I don't know.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I would
And
think
in
you're
this, in the bylaw, the planning board is the kind of administrative body of this bylaw.
Yeah.
In the sign rules, yes. But yes, the building inspector would, again, I don't think it's going to be a significant effort. I'm kind of guessing at that, but given the involvement of the building inspector and others, and he also wrote a letter of support on this, I think it's kind of a maybe a one or two meeting thing, and Sherry and Sally should jump in if I'm misstating anything, but
I think the same thing for the Mall Road Innovation District, the building inspector should review it to make sure the things that he sees that can be enforceable if it's written the right way, right? And what kind of
Yeah.
nuances there.
yeah, and he's been, I agree, and he was part of our committee, so hopefully he had made most of that. But yes, I think it's one last chance kind of thing before they get approved by the Attorney General, so that when people, assuming day one, some people may want to be doing some things, that we're ready to go.
Okay. Is there any other member of the planning board that would like to be on that committee? And then you can set up your separate membership from there. I have Barbara. Anyone else?
I
Okay.
think we can do it with staff.
All right, Barbara and staff. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Comments, Barbara? Anything?
About that?
Yep.
Or about the high school?
Let's go to the next one, the high school building study. Staff.
So as you may know, we had a meeting with the high school building study, their architect and their kind of project manager, the Doran Whittier. They're the same group that that is handling the Fox Hill School. This is a different architect. And so we met with them just to kind of get a preview, get an understanding about where they are in the process, how they how this happens in other communities as far as permitting, like when does the board get involved, like where, just kind of general overview of how things work. They also were kind enough to give us some, these are kind of the, top 5 that we've whittled it down to. So I think it was a productive conversation, but I was there with Barbara and then Bill, and so it was a small group, but it was, I think it was good, so.
Ms. Lou, any comments?
I was glad we had the meeting. I think we learned a lot. But I think there's still a lot of questions. And I do believe it would probably be better if the design team starts meeting on a more regular basis with planning board and staff. I'm concerned about multiple options that they're considering. Each one has some pretty steep concerns that we need to address. I'm not comfortable with any of them right now. So it was a good meeting, but I left it feeling worried.
Yeah, thank you, Member LaRue. I attended, there was multiple options there, which was good to see, but they're focusing just on the particular plot that they have to build with, and then maybe some other options that limits due to wetlands. I kind of approached it to say, but have you looked at things in total? Have you looked at, like we had a building here that's, we don't know what it's going to be used for after a temporary. All the buildings, can you think about Mount Hope with the lease, and I know people want to keep Mount Hope, but with the piano property, and then that's adjacent to the field, so you don't have to redo the field, which we put in millions of dollars into it to tear that down so soon. And I don't think they had the background of that. They didn't show it, but they were limiting their options to kind of the current site. And then if they were to do that, if you're going to tear that down or keep that or refurbish that, there was a lot of kind of concerns about that, not only with the neighbors, but just kind of general, locations and challenges that arose. Wetlands are right, the whole thing's a wetland, right, the high school's a wetland. So maybe that's why they built it in the first place. One comment I made, and Mr. Mpemba might appreciate this, that I think I heard at town meeting that they said they wanted a high school that was flexible with multiple areas that could be, changeable. And if you remember the high school as it opened, we had open space A, we had open space B, such that was flexible learning spaces. Now incorporates the school committee area and maybe the daycare. But I think my issue is that they're incorporating those areas into the new plan where I think their scope includes that, but if you were to take the administration offices, which don't have to necessarily be in the high school, they could actually be in the wastewater plant, so I was kind of missing this higher level, puzzle pieces to say, if you're gonna put that there, that gives them more option to take out the administration portion, put it over to the plant where they just put offices in, and I don't know how much that's gonna cost, but I think that's lacking in an overall plan between the town and maybe the building committee, in my opinion, since we just had that before us here, and how's that jive with, everything else that's going on? But it was good. It was a good meeting, and learned a lot for sure.
The other thing that I think we tried to stress to them is that they have a lot of work to do in order to get community buy-in.
And I think the
And they need
timeline.
community buy-in,
Yeah.
because this is going to go to a townwide vote. And I don't think that they're not there yet, and they have work.
What
to do.
about the renovating plan, Barbara? Did they discuss the renovating?
They did not discuss just renovating.
Right.
They did discuss plans that were a combination renovation and addition,
Right,
not straight renovation.
right.
But there is a meeting on February 12th. I think probably everybody knows about it. It's been very heavily advertised at the Fogelberg Auditorium. I'm going to go, just to learn and see what's happening. I think it would be great if as many of us can go as possible. I don't know about the rest of you. I have been hearing from constituents, mostly those that live in the area, but also some that are just concerned about the price tag. So I think this is going to be a long process, and we're just starting.
Was that at 10 o'clock, or was it, what time was that meeting on the 12th, Barbara?
I think that's
It's in the evening.
I think it's 6:30.
Oh, in the 6?
6:30. Yep,
6:30.
there it is.
Yep, so if you, I have it up here on the screen, in the room, and there's, I think BCAT's sharing now.
Oh,
If you go to-
6:30 to 8.
If you go to bhsbuildingproject.com, this is the landing page. There's some documents that are available to to be reviewed by anyone. There's a breakdown of some of the finances, the design and documents. Again, I think that they're planning to probably have some more new and updated versions of a lot of these that are going to be shared at the community forum upcoming on Wednesday, and then they'll be, I assume, uploading it to the website shortly afterwards, if you're not able to make it. But yes, this is the poster that's also been shared on the planning socials, and that it's scheduled for a 90-minute meeting next Wednesday night.
Yeah.
There were some items that we requested at that meeting.
Yep.
We have not received them, but hopefully we'll get them before the meeting on the 12th, and if we do, we can share them with the rest of the board.
So as I recall, Member LaRue, they did mention that some of the materials they shared have not been made fully public.
Right.
So they do, I think that after the 12th, they'll be sending us the documentation, because the slideshow that we saw, that was
It's
a
not public.
preview.
Preview.
So yes, but there were other things we asked for that there was.
Like finance?
The finances and, there was a third thing.
Was the third thing?
Yeah, there was a
Did
third.
I write that? Did I
Yeah.
write that?
Was it, I sent
You
an
wrote it down, yeah,
email about
yeah,
it.
it's on the email.
I know, send us the.
I forget what
Which
the
is
third
kind of,
thing
yeah,
was.
I know we get it.
Estimated construction.
No, that wasn't the
Timeline.
question. There was the timeline. No, there was
And then the cost comparison between the final set of options.
Yeah,
the cost comparison, the deck, and there was a third thing we asked them to send.
When you remember,
well, we remember, yeah.
let me know.
It was- It's kind of interesting that a building that was
I have it on-
similarly, as people could perceive this building similar to another building in the state, that's built the same way with the cement and things like that, was just, they named it as a historic building?
No.
So,
Yes, brutalist buildings now
right, so
are
they,
historic now.
you keep it as a,
Right.
architecturally significant.
Oh, I found it.
What was it?
We asked them for a list of towns that
That
have
is-
built new high schools without state assistance.
Right, that was a big deal, because most of the high schools get that 50-50 shot or whatever it is there.
Did Waltham get?
Waltham got state assistance, yes.
How about Billerica?
Revere?
How about
Billerica
Bill-
definitely did, yes.
Yeah.
Did Revere?
I don't know about Revere.
Okay, so that is
And
great.
Lexington is getting us.
Is it getting
Yeah.
it? Yeah, so hopefully that, that folks can make it to the February 12th meeting. That's a Wednesday evening, right?
Yep.
I will be on vacation.
Okay.
I'll meet Barbara over there. I'll go to that
That's
meeting.
February vacation?
No, I'm just to save thousands of dollars pulling the kids out a couple days
Okay,
early.
I've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so thank you for that. Municipal Empowerment Bill.
So
What is
this
that?
is a bill that is being, that has been submitted by Maura Healy and Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, that has a bunch of kind of changes to municipal finance and how cities and towns can run their operations, giving us a little bit more autonomy, but also within it, hidden in there, is the ability to kind of formalize and codify remote meetings, so that, we say every meeting in March, we're gonna, so, I don't know, the legislature, I don't know, but it's out
So
there.
it hasn't passed?
It hasn't passed, but
Okay.
it's been submitted, and there's some really cool initiatives in there. So check it out if you have time, but I just wanted to, be the bearer of good news. that
Great, that's
state
good.
is-
Pretty ironic that they're giving us, and they're empowering.
Well, that's what I said.
After they ramrod everything down our throat.
I was wondering if this was going to be another empowering housing
Yeah,
bill.
I don't know what they call empowering, I'm not sure I want to know what it is.
But that is good news.
So, so that is all I have on that.
Great, thank you. So correspondences, no reports from town council. We saw town council here tonight. Subcommittee reports. Anybody, subcommittees?
Just briefly, the newly renamed Public Arts Committee will be appearing before a select board on Monday to discuss the temporary relocation of sculptures while the police station is being built, and also to discuss a program that we want to work on together with the COA to have some of the electrical pieces that are on town-owned property painted.
Ms. LaRue, is there another committee in town on the arts? I just recall something is there another art committee?
There is a forget what it's called.
Cultural, so they changed, must have changed
So-
their name as well. to-
No, well, the
no?
Cultural Council gets money from the state. And I don't know how that happens, but every cultural council gets money from the state. There's
Okay.
one gentleman whose name I've forgotten, I'm sorry, I hope he's not watching, who runs that, and that money is used entirely for elementary school programs. So the
Ah.
artists and residents that go to
Yes,
the
yes,
elementary
yeah.
schools, that's what funds those programs.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
There's also, I should mention, that Melissa Tentaklis has been working with a local artist, and she got a grant, and they're working on the mobile art gallery, which I've seen pictures, it's coming along so well, it's very exciting. I think, from what I hear, I think it's going to be unveiled or this spring, April or May timeframe, and I think that'll be really cool for the
Great.
town.
Excellent. Keep us posted on that one, Ms. Wu. Thank you. Any other subcommittee reports? Seeing none. Unfinished business. None. New business. Any member have any new business? Seeing none. May I have a motion?
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Roll call?
Gaffney.
Yes?
Sutherland.
Yes.
LaRue.
Yes.
Impemba.
Yes.
Cavino.
Yes.
Natola.
Yes.
Rappaport.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion is adjourned.
Good night.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.